Hello again, guys. I thought I would give you a quick update on Rando sealed only. So, as a little footnote from the last duel, there was the question of cheating, and one of the viewers of the videos is a qualified YuGiOh judge, and I asked him his honest opinion about the either the deliberate or accidental cheating, and he gave the opinion that although the specific example that was questioned at the time was not cheating, I did actually cheat in the last game of the best of five, albeit inadvertently. And one of the cards clearly states that a face-up wind monster has to be destroyed, and at the time it was face down. So therefore, I had no right to summon the Kuldo monster, which probably swung the game in my advantage. So on the balance of probabilities, we've decided that in that scenario, Josh should have won. Now, the knock-on effect is that meant that Josh would have had a higher chance of getting the Phantom Rage pack that had the very expensive and powerful Zeus card, the XYZ. So the way that we resolved the matter is that due to the cheating, it's been decided that Joshua will have that card as compensation for I'll keep the win, but he'll have the card as compensation for the inadvertent cheating. And there's still, but he does concede that now there's an imbalance. He thinks that maybe Mystic Mine should be considered to be taken off of the ban list. However, I think that we should do round 3 first. Once we've concluded round 3, we'll make the call whether there's an imbalance of power between the two decks. Now, so that's sort of like that brings you up to date with the politics and the background to the tournament. Everything's amicable, everything's fine. I will endeavour to read my cards a bit more carefully, and so we don't get these situations happening again. So from the rest of the cards that I acquired in my pack opening, I have changed the deck up a bit, and I have made a couple of observations and ways to improve the deck, and I have actually stolen a couple of ideas from Joshua's build because he's built a very good version of the deck. So I'll run through with you the new deck, but I'm not doing it in the format of spells, traps and monsters because it doesn't really explain the synergies between the cards. So I've actually sort of built a sort of a map of the cards and talk about each one. So to start off, we have Mage Power and United We Stand. So these are sort of fairly sort of standalone cards. They just increase a monster to be quite large, good for getting over very big monsters. And then so we've then got like a generic sort of back row remover, which is Cosmic Cyclone. So all these cards that I'm going through at the moment are kind of standalone cards that do a specific function. So we've got Book of Moon, very good for getting rid of cards that have equipped spells attached to them. Then we have Draining Shield, so this is, and Widespread Ruin. So these do a similar job. Draining Shield just negates an attack and gives you life points, whereas Widespread Ruin can get rid of the largest monster on the field, and that includes the Zeus monster. Now, for general sort of like interference with your opponent's monster lineup, we've got these 3 cards, which is Mind Control, Brain Control, and 2 copies of Brain Control. These are useful because we can sort of pinch things and then link them away with my monsters as a way of getting rid of them, because they state they can't be tributed away, but link summoning isn't considered a tribute summon, so that's why these are really useful now. Then we have so special summon cards. So all of these cards are effectively to do with special summoning. So he gives you a body that you can tribute away. Scapegoat gives you 4 tokens which you can use in part with for some of the link summoning, and Monster Reborn lets you special summon from either player's graveyard. Now I've got like a one-off monster. So Banisher of the Light. He's a fairy and he's 2000 defense, and he ensures that cards get banished instead of sent to the graveyard. So he's sort of a one-off sort of strategy. Then we've got these 2 cards that form a strategy. So we've got Magical Broker and Blockout Curtain. When there is a continuous spell on the field, he cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, and this guy ensures that you've got general protection from a destruction event. So combined, it gives you a little sort of defensive wall. They can't get over it, they can't destroy it while this is on the field. And I don't play just Blockout Curtain. I also play 2 other continuous spell cards, which is Fire Formation Tenki. So there's some good synergy there with Magical Broker. Now Tenki is our main search engine for our Beast Warriors. So just as a general large beat stick, we've got the Vorse Raider, but that's all he is. He just becomes a 2000 beat stick, just with Tenki in himself. But the other thing it searches for is Seal, Strategist for Hire. Now, Seal is very good because it links in very nicely to our for hire package. So if you search for Seal and you have either of these 2 cards in your hand, then you're in a good position to summon those out for free. So he's a good beat stick, a good attacker, and she's a good defender. I've also added Rookie for Hire. So if I had, say, Magical Broker, I can tribute him away with this card in order to special summon this from the deck. So this is more digging down into the deck to get the for hire package, which is actually quite a strong strategy in itself. And so the 2 little guys can summon the other guys, and each of these have their own effects when a for hire monster is special summoned. So that's I think this is a good strategy. So of those cards, Wiz for Hire, I run 2 Set Up a Cut. The reason I play this card is that most of my monsters are like 17 or higher attack, and this says that I can, when a monster is destroyed by battle, I can summon a monster from my deck with less than or equal attack to the monster that got destroyed. So getting her out on the field is great because it doesn't stipulate it has to be in attack position. You can summon her in defense position, so you can just lose one guy and then get her onto the field in defense, and you've got like a 2/8 wall. So that's why that strategy's in there. Then on special summoning, we have Bez Blaster Cannon Core. If he wants, so you can just get him on the field quite easily, and he is quite a good beat stick, and you can also use him for other things as well. The only thing is it's only got 3 counters and they go down every time he battles, but it's still a very good card in this deck, I think. Also for special summoning, we've got YuGiOh, so he can be summoned during the battle phase, and so 17 attack, so that can push the game. And additionally, he contribute himself to buff one of your monsters by 1,000 attack points. He also gives you 1,000 life points when he is special summoned that way. Another special summon we have is the Tenyi Spirit Nahata. So as long as you don't control an effect monster, you can special summon this from your hand. So his main redeeming feature is the fact that he's a wind and a special summon. We also have other wind monsters, so we have Yusenju Sabu, which is a wind but also a beast warrior, so he is also searchable with Tenki. We also have I've added Cyber Harpy Lady, who is just an 1800 wind monster. And the reason that we're paying these wind monsters is to summon out our 2 copies of Cataclysmic Cryonic Koldos. So when a wind monster is destroyed by battle or by card effect, special summon him from the hand. So it has to be a face-up wind monster. That's very important. I've learnt that to my cost. And so yeah, you get to special summon him, and he can also target a spell or trap card and put it to the top of the deck, which can be very, very handy in the middle of the battle phase. So that's why I'm running these wind monsters. And since I only just realised today that both of these guys are fairy monsters, so it makes a lot of sense to run Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen. It's a continuous spell, again very good with Magical Broker, but it also says once per turn you can special summon 1 fairy monster from your hand, and you must control no monsters to activate this effect. So if I have these in hand and no wind monsters, I can use this to summon it out anyway. So since we're going down this path, then it makes a lot of sense to have more than 2 fairy monsters in my deck. So I've added Air Knight Parshath. This is a goat format card. It does piercing damage on defense monsters. If it does any damage to your opponent, you get to draw a card, so it's actually very good to get dig into your deck and get hand advantage. I pulled Dark Lord Superbia, which again is a fairy, and it's a 2/9 attack. And then we also play Guardian Angel Joan. I stole this idea from Joshua's deck because he summoned her out and it was quite devastating for a few turns. So now we've got a 5 fairy package along with the Valhalla to summon them. And then we're playing also 3 psychic shockwaves. Again, it stipulates that when your opponent activates a trap card, discard a spell or trap, and then special summon 1 level 6 dark machine monster from your deck. So we already know about the 2 Jinzos that we have in the deck, which are the level 6 dark machine, but I've also noticed, looking through the Duel Links box, that Blowback Dragon is also a dark level 6 machine monster who has the effect of once per turn you can target 1 card your opponent controls, toss a coin 3 times, and destroy that target if 2 of the results are both heads. Which is, again, if I get through these very quickly, which I did do in one of the duels, it's nice to have an additional target in the deck for these psychic shockwaves, so they're not just dead draw cards. So all in all, I think this is sort of like a better way of explaining the strategies in the deck and how they all interrelate. So there are some genuine crossovers between the strategies, which hopefully will prove themselves out as we continue these duels. There's nothing really to say on the extra deck. We still have the Jar Jar that's yet to be summoned, probably won't be summoned now. That will never be summoned. This will never be summoned. And neither will this, or this, or this, or this. So all of this is sort of just fluff that's in my extra deck at the moment. So just put those to one side. What I can summon though is a Geonator Transverser and 2 Barricade blockers. Both of these can be used with Mind Control and Brain Control to get rid of very large monsters that I'd have difficulty getting over in other ways. I am able to summon Steel Star Regulator, again if I steal a very large rank or level monster, then this will get very large, very high attack gain from the summon. But again, it's probably harder to summon because it requires at least 3 non-link monsters. So that would probably mean me having either 2 steel spell cards or 2 monsters on the field at the time when I try and use my opponent's monster. So it's not very likely, but it might come in handy at a very specific point in time. And we still have the Tri-Brigade Rugal the Silver Sheller. Now this is probably a little bit easier to summon now because we still have Beast Warrior monsters, but we've also added an extra Winged Beast monster in the form of the Cyber Harpy Lady. So this is probably a little bit easier to summon now, but it's still very unlikely to be summoned, but it's a possibility. So there we have it. That's the deck profile. We've had one practice duel and I got demolished, principally by the Zeus. The Zeus is easy for Josh to summon, and but I don't think it's particularly broken in this format. I think it's a very, very good card and very difficult to get over, but it's not impossible to get over. So I'm going to see how we go with the next round 3, and see how we fare, and if we genuinely think that that is an overpowered card, then either we'll ban Zeus or we'll let Mystic Mind come back, just to give me a fighting chance, but we'll see. So there we are. So the moral of the story is that cheaters never prosper, and but it feels good to cleanse your soul and confess, and I think I'm glad things are sorted out now, because this is meant to be fun, and when it's not fun, that's when we have to stop. So yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think of either the deck profile or anything you think about the update, and also let us know if you're enjoying the series, because we're having a lot of fun doing it as well. So on that note, I'll leave you there, and we'll probably try and film the next match when we're ready. Okay, thank you very much, and take care.